Welcome to another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So today, my special guest is very passionate about helping couples improve their communication by playing a game called Better Topics. Better Topics is a card game for couples she invented with her and her husband, Robert. The game was created to help couples have deeper conversations and have fun. The game has a reward system that makes it great for date nights, traveling, and even picnics because the questions are designed to be repeatable and the game can be played over and over again. My special guest today is Diana Industries. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So where are you from originally?
So, originally, I am East European. I'm from Romania, but I've been living in the UK for the past 11 years.
So, I know that you didn't, you know, you didn't, you didn't grow up and say, hey, one day I want to help people with their dating advice and help them to communicate.
Yeah, no,
So how did you get into this?
that wasn't my goal actually growing up. My sorry, my background is actually in law. I graduated law back in Romania, and then I came to the UK. And once I was here, I realized that my degree is not recognized because the British law system is very different from the Romanian law system.
Mm.
So I, pivoted at that time, and then I started working at the local hospital in admin, in administration. And I started off as, admin assistant in an office, and then I worked my way up to management level. Because, when I started, I thought that once I'll get to management level, I'll be able to, implement some new things that I want to do, change stuff, improve the system, because I had so many ideas, especially because I went in from basically the lowest paid job all the way to a manager level. I said, I've seen so many things along the way that could have been improved. I said, okay, once I'm a manager, I'll be able to do that. But once I got there, I realized that, it wasn't like that at all. I didn't have any freedom to implement anything I wanted. I had no freedom to do anything to be creative or anything like that, which was quite disappointing for me at that point in time. I was involved, in a few one-off projects here and there that were quite interesting, but they were very rare, those projects. And most of the time I, just had to take the orders from above basically and pass them on to other people, which I wasn't really comfortable with doing, especially knowing that so many of those orders didn't really work well in real life situations. So, alongside, I've met my husband, we got married, and he was working from home for quite a while. And I always envied him for that in a way, because although, he was working longer hours than I did in an office, I was working 8 hours and then I came home, I was free. He was working 12, 16 hours sometimes, maybe,
Mm.
but still he was more fulfilled. At the end of the day, he was happy with what he was doing. He was still excited. He would have 16-hour calls, literally back to back calls for 16 hours. He would barely have any voice left by the end of the day, but he was still pumped and very excited about all the projects he was working on. And I was like, how is that? How does that even feel? Like, I want to be like that. I want to be happy at the end of the day that, oh my God, I've helped so many people, or I'm working on this interesting project, or I can be as creative as I want. And my then job didn't allow me to do that. So, we did brainstorm for quite a while, and it was actually his suggestion, to start something like this because he said that, I'm very passionate about our relationship, which I am, because having had few failed relationships in my past, I realized that, okay, so my career is okay, my finances were okay because, I educated myself in them, I applied what I've learned, and then everything, was okay. But my relationships and my private life weren't as good as I wanted them to be, So then I started educating myself in that as well. Because, in any job basically, if you don't know how to do something, you take a course on it, you read a few books, and then you start doing it, and then you learn how to do it and you do it well. So I kind of applied the same principles on relationships, and because I didn't want my next relationship to be um, a failure again. Basically, I wanted to truly be happy in my relationship and keep that happiness for as long as possible, because so many people said, yes, everything will change once you're married, or everything will change in a few years' time, or everything will change after you have children and all of that. And I was like, no, I don't want it to change. I want to work on it and keep it happy.
Yeah.
So, all of these things combined together. Also, the fact that we both love board games, and we have so many of them at the house. We have all the classic ones, like Monopoly, Scrabble, you name it, we have it. And we did get some of the card games that are out there, card games for couples,
Yeah.
or better yet, card games, in brackets for couples, because they're not games, actually. We were very disappointed to find out that all of them were basically one-off questions printed on a piece of paper, and that's it. There wasn't any game element to it. You couldn't play it. Even if you went through the questions once, what then? Then you could have just, maybe throw out the deck or give it away, or it didn't really matter because you couldn't use it again, basically. And also, so many of those questions weren't even interesting anymore, because we've been together for a while and we kind of knew, the basics, like favorite color, favorite ice cream flavor, and all of that. So I was quite disappointed with that, and I was like, why do they even call it a game? It's not a game. It's questions printed on a card. Like, what is this? So, brainstorming with all these for a while, then we thought, why not just create our own game and then see what that would look like. And that's how we actually started. We worked on the questions for quite a while, to be honest. I think it took us over 6 months just to curate the questions, because we wanted to make them applicable for every type of relationship, whether they are straight, whether they are homosexuals, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, because most relationships will face some of the same issues and problems, you see. So we worked very hard to make the questions, applicable for anyone, and to make them repeatable, so people can actually play the game over and over again. Because although the questions are the same, the way they are formulated, every week the answers will change anyway, so you always have something new in the game.
That's good.
And alongside so basically what we've done is we've combined all the elements that we like in different games, and we brought them together in this game. So we have the element of, working on your relationship by having the important discussions that people should have. And then we have the fun elements to it as well. So we have cards, what we call modifiers, that are cards like, cancel the question or reverse the question. So, when I play with my husband, if he has like a really good question and he thinks, okay, this is like a bit difficult, I want her to answer this, if I have the reverse card, then I can reverse the question and then I'll make him answer it instead. And, it kind of goes back and forth. And then one of the players will win and one of the players will lose that game, basically. And the winner gets to choose their reward out of the reward deck. So the main deck of cards comes with its own reward deck. And these things usually are something either to do for your partner or together with them, because we want to encourage people to do more of the simple things together and to appreciate them. Even things like a 20-minute foot massage, or I don't know, a restaurant that I like, for example, or my favorite one is whatever I want whenever I want. There's like the joker of the rewards.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen no cards like that. No.
We haven't either. That's why we created these.
And there's been a lot of them coming out lately. I guess because of the pandemic, I guess, but I haven't. Most of the cards are just like you said, it's kind of like they ask one question and it's like 50 cards, one question. Yeah. And if you ask that, you answer that question, that's pretty much the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing to play with it. Yeah. It's like you just ask it and that's it. You don't even need those cards at the end of the day. You can just open, an article on the internet and just read out questions if that's what you want to do with your partner. You don't need the actual cards with you, especially now that everyone has internet everywhere on their phone. You don't even need to carry it with you. So what we wanted to do is to transform that important discussion in a game, because what we realized is that, first of all, from my own experience, I even remember now every time I went through, management training and all of that stuff in my previous job, I remember very well, even to this day, all the trainings that involved games, any type of games. Like once I remember we had to build like an Eiffel Tower out of pasta sticks with the team, just to
Yeah, yeah.
for the assessors to see how you work with a team together and everything. But it was fun, I loved it, and it was so much fun, and I still remember it. And all the trainings that involve games, I still remember them perfectly to this day. And discussing with my husband as well, who is in business for a few years, he agreed with me, because whenever you play, although we are adults,
Mhm.
even now, if we play, we do learn more, first of all. And second of all, when we play, we are more relaxed, you know,
Oh yeah.
and we are less prone to put up our defenses,
Mhm.
because if, for example, couples have the we need to talk type of discussion, like even me,
Oh,
even now, after so many years of being married to my husband,
oh yeah.
if he comes to me and he's like, we need to talk, the first thing is
Oh,
like, what did I do now? What the
oh.
problem is? What is it that we need to sort out again? Like all of these things, And then my defenses go up because I'm ready to defend myself for whatever reason. Like I don't even know what the situation was, but I'm already ready to defend myself.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen this in many couples as well around us. So, with by, asking couples to play a game, they lower those defenses, because in order to have a productive conversation with your partner, you need to be honest and you need to be willing to open up, you
Yeah.
see? So, because it's a game, it's less pressure on the couples to actually talk about the important things. And even if some of the questions seem a bit, more difficult to answer, or a bit too, let's say, feelings orientated, you can play in the game. Like this is the game, you kind of have to answer it in a way or another. Like just play the game. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Yeah, I think you know, your game gives people kind of like they can talk about things that the taboo subjects that they probably wouldn't normally talk about, or things that maybe make them uncomfortable. And plus, a lot of times when we play games, we kind of go back when we were a kid mentally,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. So, because a lot of times as adults, we become so serious about everything. We take everything
Yes.
serious. A lot of people, they get into the rat race and they don't really know how to relax and have fun anymore.
Exactly.
So I think a game like yours, it gives people uh, room to relax. That's what I think. I think that's why it works so well on people.
Well, that's the thing, you see, because my belief is that anyone can have a great relationship if they are willing to put in the work to
Yeah.
make it great. But that work doesn't mean it needs to be tedious. We don't have to all lie down on a couch and talk about our feelings all day. That's not what a great relation or working on the great relationship means. We can do this in a fun way. Hence why the game. Like you're playing a game, you're having fun with your partner, and then you also have the discussions to understand your partner better. Because what we found is many couples, after a while, they forget to connect and to talk about themselves as a couple and each other the way they used to when they were dating.
Yeah.
When you're in the dating phase, the reason why the dating phase is so amazing, first of all, because you get to know the other person and there is that mystery element to it. But second of all, is because you talk so much about yourself, they talk about themselves, and then you try to imagine how you would work together, how everything would combine together in a relationship and all of that thing. But then people forget to keep that on. I mean, I'm not saying you have to keep it on to the same intensity as you were when you were dating, but still keep a part of it alive throughout your relationship, because otherwise, you kind of lose touch with your partner. And actually, it was the pandemic itself that pushed us to actually put the game out so soon because we weren't completely ready, to be honest. But when the pandemic hit, we literally realized that so many couples were physically, literally locked in with their partner and they had no idea what to talk about with each other. They were all day just watching movies, watching TV, and doing nothing productive really because they were literally locked in the house. So we wanted to give them this tool to help them, refocus on what's important. Because yes, bad things happen in the TV all the time. That doesn't mean we should not be aware of them, but because we as a person don't really have as much power over them, we can refocus on what is important for us, meaning the relationship, the family, and all these things.
Yeah. So how's the pandemic over there? How has it affected relationships over there?
Well, as everywhere else, we were all locked in, for so many months. I was happy, to be honest. I didn't mind. I love spending time with my husband. But on the other side, because we were both working online by that time, it didn't really affect us personally too much. And on the other hand, we don't really go out, clubbing or anything. We did miss, going out to restaurants once in a while. But other than that, here it was fairly okay, I would say. We still could walk outside every day without wearing a mask on the street. We just needed masks indoors, so in big shops and stuff like that. And some of the small shops and restaurants were closed for a while, but then they reopened, reclosed, and that sort of thing. And for the last couple of weeks, they literally lifted all restrictions. There are none left.
Really?
Yeah.
So you know what that means? We're next over here.
Well, hopefully. Hopefully.
I hope so. So
Do
how
you guys
long?
have any restrictions left?
Oh yeah. It just depends on every state, every city is doing their own thing over here.
Hmm.
But usually, when when whatever the UK does, we usually follow. That's
Yeah.
that, that's pretty standard
Yeah.
since since I've been living anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
there've been some riots in London, to be honest, because people were literally so fed up, with being
Oh
locked in
yeah.
and everything. But yeah, now our prime minister just decided he will lift all restrictions, and that's it. Like according to him, we all have to go through it at least once. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. I don't think it. I think everybody. I think most people are gonna get it at least once.
Yeah.
It's like, I know some people in California. They had it two, three, four times.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
That's
gee.
interesting. With my husband, we had it once in like October time. We went through it. And then the doctors told us to like wait for a few months before we actually get the shots. So we started having the shots as well now and everything. But my brother, for example, he had both shots, the first and the second
Yeah.
mandatory ones, and he still got it
Yeah.
after
It
that.
never worked.
Crazy. However, his symptoms were a lot lighter than what we had, when we had it, to be honest.
Okay.
So literally his symptoms were like a normal cold. Like he was in bed for like maybe a day, maybe two, and that's it. After that, he was like, okay.
That's
So
good.
I do think that the shots help as well. I don't know you know, to what extent because I'm not a medic, so I have no
Yeah.
idea. But let's just hope that they know what they are doing.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's that. I'm an optimist. So I try to just keep the faith.
Yeah.
you know. So how long did it take for you to come up with the concept and all the way to the launch date of the cards? How long did it take y'all to do it?
Oh wow. I think around a year, to be honest. So for at least 6 months or so, we worked on the questions themselves, how to make them repeatable, what questions to include, and all of that. And then we started working on how to make it playable and replayable, basically, how to include modifiers, how many of them. And we played the game over and over again to understand what issues can arise, what misunderstandings can arise there, and iron out all the things. And then the pandemic hit, and Then we're like, okay, this is the best time to actually launch it because people would actually need this right now. And we started in June 2020 with a Kickstarter campaign, which was successful. It was fully funded. So we started putting out there the first, cards. And then a year later, which was June 2021, we've launched the Better Topics app as well. Because now, for people who like card games and physical board games, they can get the physical card games. And for those who are not very keen on them, we have the Better Topics app as
So,
well.
so which came first, the cards or the site?
The cards, and
Okay.
then we worked on the website, and then we worked on the app.
Okay. So yeah, most people, they would just come out with the product, forget the website. What made y'all do that? Go that route?
We were thinking of the couples who are on in lockdown, like but they are separated. We thought of those couples as well. For example, if you're separated, or even if one of the people in a relationship are working away, or maybe even if, for example, some of them are going away to work and then they're coming back at night at home, and they're still wanting to keep in touch over the course of the day. Why not? They can use it in many ways, to be honest. It's not necessarily only for couples in long distance relationships. It can be used literally even if they are sitting next to you, if you would like.
Yeah, it's a nice website.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I looked over at as soon probably just after you sent me the first message. I looked over it. You know. So, are you gonna come out with more products that's similar to cards?
Um,
You think?
Interestingly enough, we had requests for to make the game for friends,
Mhm.
and some couples actually asked us to make the game for parents and children, if possible.
Mhm.
Which I thought was a great idea because
Yeah.
with the game right now, we do have some extensions. So we have like specific questions on parenting, for parents who want to have more parenting related questions. And those questions are related to their children as well, like, for example, what lessons did we teach them this month, or what lessons do we want to teach them next week, and stuff like that. And we have for intimacy as well, for new couples, we have various extensions. But some of our friends actually suggested us to make one for friends because they tried playing it, although they were friends, and they still could answer so many of the questions because they were so close. So they were okay to share so many details. And they did suggest, for us to do friends, and then few other couples also suggested for us to make like parents and children, which we will definitely do, but in the future, because right now, um, it takes quite a bit of time to
Yeah.
actually spread the word as much as possible, considering it's only me in the company.
Yeah. It's a lot. I can only imagine. Because it's like I said, most of the cards that I've seen is pretty basic. You know,
Yes,
it's
yes,
questions that you can really ask in person. Like it's
exactly.
not that unique at all. I'm like, I never even and the questions are very
Dry.
kind of broad. It's like it's kind of like looking at a talk show. When they ask those broad questions,
Yes,
like
it can mean anything. Like
yeah. So
that's
yeah,
the thing. We focused on things that we felt that most couples should talk about, like, even although both me and my husband, we are really open with each other, we talk a lot with each other every day, we still play the game to this day, either the app or the cards game on date night, we switch it up and we still ask those questions. So we have questions like, one of my favorite questions is, when did you need me most last week and I wasn't there? you know I love this question because the more you ask this question, the more you can pinpoint what is the pattern that, and when is it that your partner actually needs you. So the next time when you see situations like that arising, you can be there for your partner to support them, because now you know. But if you don't ask these questions, how would you even know?
exactly. So what's been your response from the majority of your, I guess, friends and people that have purchased?
Oh my God, the response literally makes me tear up every time because it's so nice. People love it so much and they send so many nice words. Um, for example, we had this man from all the way from Japan. He bought the game and he did say, he got the game because he wanted to improve his relationship with his wife. It wasn't going very well. So, but he got the game, but she wasn't willing to play the game with him. So, what he did was he actually memorized some of the questions and he just asked her during dinner. He asked her some of the questions from the game. And then she
Yeah,
started answering. And then, he said the discussion went well. So he'll do that again, a few times. And I was so, so touched by his email. I
yeah,
cannot explain. It literally teared me up. And I went to my husband. I'm like, oh my God, we're helping couples all the way in Japan. Like, I haven't even met this guy and he's already improving his relationship. This is amazing. And we had, a lot of great feedback from newer couples as well, because this opened up, a lot of discussion for them and to get them to know each other better, from the very beginning. And another very funny feedback that we've got from some of our friends were they're like in their mid 50s now, and they've been married for over 30 years. They said, we like you guys, that's why, we supported you with the Kickstarter campaign, but we don't really need this because we have it covered. Like, we've been married 30 years, we're okay, we're fine, and whatever. And I said, okay, can you just play the game so I can see, what you guys think about it? Because obviously I like the game, but I've created it. I see it from one point of view. I need, other opinions as well, if we can improve it, or what else can we add to it. So they played and they sent me this very nice email where they said, we thought we are in a really good position, and we are, as a couple, but this game actually made us think of a lot of things that we haven't thought about before, and to discuss certain things from various point of views that they've never talked about before. And that was quite impressive to hear from them. I was very, very happy with that. And just the other week, one of my husband's friends actually just sent him an email that he really loved the game and his wife loved it and the children as well loved it.
hey,
Because
that's
they
why.
actually started using some of those questions with their children, and their children appreciated their parents even more, for asking them those questions and for being so thoughtful in their question. So yeah, that was impressive to see.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do. 'Cause,
Yes, yes. I mean, that's the thing. Even when I hit roadblocks, I remember the really nice feedback and all the people that were helping, and then I'm like, it's fine. I'll just go through this as well.
yeah, yeah, that's great. So if people wanted to, get the cards and read up on what you got going on, where would they go to?
So the physical cards can be found on our website, which is bettertopics.com, or on Amazon, UK, US, and Australia. And the app can be found on both Apple Play and Google Play Store as well. And it's called Better Topics.
There you have it. All links will be found in the show notes. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think below, and I highly recommend you go get the cards. You know, I will. Because I want to support her and everything. But hey, until next time, we out. Peace.